Right. So yeah, as I said, it's not about what or how to lay out your content as far as tell them what you're going to tell them, then tell them what you told them. That's completely down to you, because you all have your individual styles of talking, etc. This is about the elements really of a blog post that you need to include, okay, for good practice. Yeah. And like so many of these things, I think there's 10 here, but you obviously don't need to include all 10 every time, but just if you bear them in mind as you are constructing, you'll probably be all right. So let's see if we can get this to work. Okay. So as I said, we're not talking about what to write, but we are talking about how to construct a post. Does that make sense? That resonate with everyone? Excellent. So number one is your headline. Okay, so like a newspaper, you want a headline that is going to grab attention. And this is the post title. Okay, so that is going to create your headline. And by default, WordPress puts it as a H1 tag. Okay, so this is it's telling the search engines, H1 is heading 1, so it's telling them this is the most important words on the page. Okay, so let's say by default, WordPress will put your title into H1. So write it in your voice, and by that I mean how you would normally talk. You know, how are you as a professional person talking? So if you don't swear, if it's not something you would do, don't put it in just for effect. It's not going to work because it's not you. Okay, and include your keyword. And for those of you that don't know, keyword is really a misnomer, because it can be a whole sentence. Okay, so just saying keyword is, well, I suppose it makes life simple, but don't be sort of stuck up on the my keyword is art or health, or you know, it can be hypnotherapy for health. It could be, if I could say it, obviously. So that is what your keyword could be. But in the title, it could be learning hypnotherapy for health. Okay, so you're including the keyword, but it isn't necessarily the title. Does that make sense? Yeah, you're all happy with that? Okay, and as I say, write for humans. Okay, the search engines will understand anyway. But what you don't want is a confused audience, because they'll leave. Okay, so write for them. Is there anything else to want to say about that? Yeah, so if in doubt, just be clear with what you put. Yeah, don't try jargon for your business unless you work business to business. So if your blog post is about how to build a rocket and it's aimed at rocket scientists, fine. But don't try to be clever. Just write for, if you aim for sort of a 13-year-old, you'll probably get it about right. Okay. And I don't know if you can hear, but the cat is howling in the background. So next is your sub headline. Okay. So if you imagine, we have the, as it used to be in the old days, you'd come out of the subway or whatever, get off your train, you come out of the subway and you'd walk to the top of the stairs, and there would be an old boy stood there with his little box selling the newspapers. Yeah. And the newspapers would be folded over, and headline would be upmost, headline image. Yeah. Grab people's attention. And if you think about how newspapers were written, quite often you could get the gist of the story just reading the headline and the subheadlines without actually reading the text. Yeah. So you use H2 and H6 tags for this. So H1 is your main heading. H2 is a subheading, the first subheading going on down. Yeah. Just cascades downwards. So your sub paragraph is a H2, your sub paragraph would be a H3, etc. Make sure it's connected to the main headline. Okay, so as I said, your headings should be able to tell a story on their own. That's what you look to aim for. But bear in mind, depending what you're writing about, you don't necessarily have to include them. Yeah, you need a title so that people understand it. But your blog post could be something quite short and sweet because something has just happened and you need to get on it really quick in whatever industry you're doing. So don't feel that you have to create something following this prescribed pattern if you need to get it out. Yeah. So they don't always need them. So if you look at that, Armstrong walks on the moon, and then that's your headline, but up above it, you've got like a subheading. So Lunar Naught's perfect landing. Armstrong walks on the moon. Underneath, one small step for man, he says. So just from that bit alone, you get the gist of what that story is about. Yeah, you don't actually need to go in and read it. Okay, and back to our newspaper analogy with the bit where it's folded over, what you want to do is get the attention grabbing stuff above the fold. So that is where people don't have to scroll to actually read the rest or look at something else. Does that make sense? And especially when you start thinking nowadays, a lot of our people are readers, whatever, are on mobile. So what can they see on their screen without having to scroll? Have you got enough there to grab them so that they'll go on and read the rest? Oh, we seem to have missed a bit. Okay, oh yeah, adjusting text. So we've got our H tags, okay, which is our headings, but sometimes we want to make other text prominent, but it's not going to be a heading. Okay, so if you look into your screen where you do your blogging, you'll see, I don't know if you can see my mouse now, there's this little thing here. You can actually adjust the size of the text. So you can adjust the size, you can make it bold, you can put it into italics, etc., just from there. Okay, so don't use H tags unnecessarily just to make text bigger. Okay, what you will find as you go through is that your text has been set so that H1 will be of a size, H2 will be smaller, down, 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 and then your paragraph text will probably be the smallest of the lot. So you don't need to make it into a heading just to make your text bigger. Yeah, you can just go in here and change the size. Just highlight the text you want, same as you do in Word, highlight the text you want, change the font size. There's also a plugin you can use which will give you even more control over the text and what you can do with it. So you can put that in, and that will give you, you can add extra bits into that editor that we saw. So that editor there, you can add another line in underneath, gives you even more control of what you can do with your text. Okay. The third thing you need to think about is your alt tag, also known as alt text, alternative text. And this is what you tell the search engines your image is about. Okay, but as I've said there, it also works for screen reading software. Okay, so there's I don't know if it's still around. There was a screen reading software called Orca, which is for people that are partially sighted, and it would read the alt text so that they knew there was an image there and what the image was. Okay, so if you can, on your alt text, use your keyword. More beneficial if you can, but describe what the image is. So if it's an old lady crossing the road, that's your alt text. Yeah, but if your let's say your blog post was about how to cross the road safely, your alt tag text could be old lady crossing the road safely. Yeah, we happy with that?
Yeah.
Excellent. Your word count in your articles, as it says there was a thing published not too long ago about what the best article length was for blog posts in 2019, which was 1,700 words all but. But again, it needs to be relevant. So you don't just try and force words in trying to hit that title. Yeah, if you're well, like the other day when we had a fire just down the road, if you were just writing a blog post about that fire and you wanted to be on trend, trying to cram in 1,700 words when you want to just get it out, possibly not a good idea. Yeah, you just want to tell people what's happening. But as I said, 600 words could be enough. Depends what you're talking about. Yeah. So a good starter for you for what your content length is, or what content length is getting your people looking at it, is to go and have a look in your Google Analytics. Okay, if you go and have a look at what pages are getting the love, don't forget a post is on a page. It is a page on its own, although it's called a post, which is quite confusing at times. You can just look at your pages and see which pages are getting the most views. Yeah, so that tells you what the people that are landing on your website are interested in, where they're spending their time, and then you can write more about that. But also you can go and look at what they're reading and say, okay, I wrote that was 1,200 words, so maybe that's all I need to write. That's what my audience is happy with. Yeah, and again, remember, you're writing for people, not for the search engines. Yeah, you're telling them a story about a particular subject, and your subject is your keyword. Yeah, and one post for one keyword. Number 5 is internal links. So this is links within your website. Okay, so if you are writing, let's just say, oh, here's one. If you were writing about gardening, let's say, and you were following the seasons, okay, so you could say in your June post, as spring moves into summer, we now put away all the spring tools, and it may be that in your first post in spring you mentioned what the spring tools were. Well, your words spring tools, you link back to that post. Okay, so what you're saying is this bit that I'm writing is relevant to that bit there that I'm telling you about. So that's what you're telling the search engines. These two bits are related, and they'll get it. It's not difficult. The search engines will get that is relevant. You've mentioned spring posts, spring tools, which is the words you've used as your link, and the post you've linked to says spring tools. So it all makes sense. Okay. Or let's say you have Charlie. Let's say you start selling glass off of your website. So you start selling some of your art, but you write posts for each piece that you create. Okay, so you go and write a nice descriptive post about the latest vase that you've created, and you link to the product where you're selling it.
Oh, okay.
In the post. Yeah.
Okay.
So anybody that's interested in reading about it may then, oh yeah, I'll go and buy that, or go and have a look at it. Yeah.
Okay.
And as I said, use anchor text where possible, and the anchor text is, as I just said, spring tools. That is your anchor text. That is what you're going to use to link to the page or the post that talks about your spring tools. So we're all happy with that. And as I say, yeah, link relevant text. So if you remember, not too long ago, people used to have click here everywhere for people to get PDFs or to go and get the Adobe PDF reader. So strangely enough, the text click here became associated with Adobe. So, you know, everybody's thinking, well, I don't want to go do that because all I'm going to get is a PDF reader. Mm. So, you know, if you want somebody to say, ring me, for example, well, then just put that on there, ring me, and connect it to so that it clicks to a phone number. You know, that is a call to action rather than a text, but it's telling them what to do, and it's relevant text to the action that's going to happen. Yeah. External links. So we've just done internal links. Okay. So external links. So this is sort of let's go back to the fire. No, let's not. But a news item, for example, that is relevant to you and what you do, and you're gonna blog about it. So let's say you get your information from an article on the BBC. Yeah. So you take a huge article on the BBC, you write a synopsis about it as your blog post, but you link to the BBC article. Okay. So, and your words would say full BBC article here or something similar like that. And that would be your text for your link. Yeah. So one, you're using relevant text again to what you're talking about. But you're also going to get that support for your content because you've said this is what it's about and here it is. And Google will follow the link and say, actually, that is what it's about. And there it is. This is all correct. Yeah, so it gives you that little bit of authority, for want of a better description. Categories, we're going to do categories and tags next. So I don't know if you're aware, if you've not looked in the back, and we'll have a quick look at it in a minute, but you can categorize your posts. Okay. And if you consider the categories to be like the chapter list at the front of a book, that's how it helps your readers. Okay. By default, when you put WordPress in, normally you get one category and it's called uncategorized. Okay, it will create it. Go and edit it and turn it into something else. You cannot delete it, but you can edit it. So if you go into your category screen, you'll see something like that. And there's a little thing that says, we'll have a look at this in a minute. There's a little thing that says quick edit. You can just click on there and change the name. Okay. Essentially what happens is if you forget to create a category, when you write a post and publish it, it will be classed as uncategorized because that is the default one that WordPress has created. Okay, and that makes no sense to your readers. So next we're going to talk about tags. So the categories are the chapter list at the front of the book. So in that respect, tags are the index at the back. Okay, so there's sort of categories on speed, for want of a better description. So it enables you to categorize further, I suppose, is another way of looking at it. So what do I mean by that? Well, those of you who may have heard me say this before, but if you were doing a blog about films, let's say, okay, so your categories, so this is at the front of the book, if you consider that, people can say, well, I'm interested in crime, I'll go and look at crime. Yeah, that's all the crime films. Yeah, I'll go and have a look at that. Or drama, whatever their genre of choice is. But your tags could be something like an Oscar winner. So that could be a crime film that has won Best Film. Okay, it could be an actor within there that has actually won an Oscar. Or it could be that John Wayne has starred in a crime, a drama, a thriller, and a Western, and people want to go and find John Wayne. So you see how that works as the index at the book rather than the chapter section at the front. Does that make sense? Yeah? Oh, I just heard a bing bong. What does that mean? Somebody else wants to join us.
Hello.
You've missed the best bit.
I thought I might have done.
That was before I came on.
Was it? All right.
Oh, let's go back. So, Charlie, does that make sense? You can just nod. Does that make sense what I've just said there for you?
Yeah,
so
that's
your visitors can search and look at all the crime posts, or they could look at all the posts that have got John Wayne in. Okay, in which case they will then see a list that could be crime, thriller, Western, drama, comedy, whatever. Yeah, so they will get them all related to John Wayne. So it's like looking at where does the word "the" appear. No, that's a stupid word to pick as in an index. That'd be on every page, wouldn't it? But you know what I mean. Okay, and you can include a call to action. in your blog posts, yeah? So tell them what to do next. Okay, so we were talking earlier that you may want to say about the fact that you're putting away your Spring tools, but in that post that you wrote about the tools that you would use in Spring, did you put care instructions in there? So you may say, go back there and put your tools away, but clean them first, and use the words clean them first and link back to that. It's a call to action. What do you want them to do next? As we saw, Charlie, about you perhaps doing a vase, you could say buy now and then put that as a link to the actual product that they can purchase it. Yeah, so tell them what you want to do. So yeah, a newsletter sign up. Do you want people to sign up for your newsletters? If you've enjoyed this post, sign up to my newsletter. And you can have a sign up form in the sidebar, and you can even put an arrow in your post to say, over there, go and sign up. Yeah, and you should have a call to action on most of your posts. I mean, there's some of them that you won't. You don't try to force something in there. Like I said, you're writing for the readers. Yeah. So don't try to force elements in there just because you think, oh, I've got to have a call to action. Yeah, but if there is something else that you would like them to do, tell them. So don't say, would you like to buy one? You say, buy now. That is the call to action. Yeah, find out more, not would you like to know more. Does that make sense?
Yes, definitely.
So yeah, don't leave it so that they can make oh, shall I just do it? Call to action.
Be firm and positive.
Well, it makes it easy for them.
Okay.
Yeah, buy now means click this button and go and get it. If you could purchase this item, yeah, I could.
But I'm not going to. Yeah.
Well, I'll think
Okay.
about it. And then by next week, I've forgotten where I read it, who it was by. Social sharing. So this is good for you. Okay, you would like your visitors to share your stuff so that other people can find it. So make it easy for them to share. Okay, don't make them have to go and copy and paste your URL or something like that just to go and share it with their mates. Make it easy for them. And there's plugins that can do this, okay? And as I said, don't think, oh, I just want them to share this on Facebook or Twitter, because that's all I use. Yeah, it's their channels, don't constrict it. Let them share it where their audience is, you know, the people they talk to. So if they use Tumblr or whatever, just let them share it where they want. The more the merrier for you.
And there's a plugin that can.
Yeah, so if you just go, so I've just gone in here to add a plugin and just done a search for social.
Yeah. And
as you can see, it's thrown up numerous ones. So you can just go and find out what suits your purposes. Yeah,
okay.
we talked about selecting plugins before. So look for ones that get used a lot and when they were last updated. So this one here has got 200,000 active installations, but it was last updated 2 months ago. So you may want to look at this one, which was last updated 3 weeks ago. Yeah?
Yeah, sure.
So I will put that as normal for you guys to see as a PDF. James, did you get in, by the way?
No.
Still haven't. Okay. I'll.
That's right.
I'll have to have a look again at that. Okay, so we were talking about. Let's just go and have a quick look. I'll just create a new blog post. Okay, so most of you will see something. Well, that's the wrong button. Let's try that again. Like this for your blog posts. and when you add a new one, you should be see a screen something similar like that, I should imagine, most of you. Yeah, there'll be a video, Charlie, so you don't need to worry about it too much. So we mentioned title, which goes in this little box at the top. It says there, add a title, and that will be your H1 tag. And then here's your text box. Yeah. Now, depending on how your blog works, your images, you may want to include some actually in the post itself. Okay. And there's that add media button for that. It is that simple. You just write some text and click on that and say, I want to add an image. And you'll see here on the right hand side, this is where you can put your alternative text. Yeah. So you can just put that straight into your post. If you get to a point and you think, did I put some alternate text on that one? If you go and click on here and go to the pencil, you get another option to put in the alt text. Yeah, so you're not constrained, and don't think just because it's in your media library you can't change it. Okay. Generally, you'll have something similar down the side here. So this is where we select our categories. This is where we add our tags. Yeah, so bearing in mind what we were going through there. If you need to create a new category, you can do it here. Yeah, you don't need to go and into the categories specifically. You can just say, oh, this is a new film that's come out. It's a sci-fi. I'll add a new category. We also talked about changing the default one. So if you look under your post navigation on the side, there is a thing there for your categories. I'm going to leave the page because I don't want to save that. So your uncategorized will probably be here at the top. Yeah. And you can just do a quick edit and change the name. You also need to change that, the slug. Okay, so there you can see it's one word, resources. If we look at that one, so multiple words, they get hyphened. Yeah, and what this is what appears up in your URL at the top here. Yeah. So your URL would be yourwebsite.com/that bit / your blog title. That's how it would appear. By default now, WordPress uses hyphens. So when you write your title, it would also get hyphenated like that in the URL. Yeah, leave it like that. If you look at your URL up here and it's got anything weird in it, question marks, percentage signs or anything like that, come down to your settings here and you're looking for this one that says permalinks. Okay, and this is where you set how it appears. Yep, so like I said, if it's got weird things like question marks, equals, you could have that one there actually set. So just change it and make it the post name. Happy with that? Okay, so let's go back to our post. Now you can, if you want, when you want to go and write your posts and things, you can write them in Word or a text editor and then copy and paste them in here. Oh. So if you don't want to come and work in here, if you're uncomfortable that something will be seen before you're ready or whatever, you can do it that way round. As soon as you put anything in here, my advice is hit here, save draft. Okay. So always save your work whenever you can. It will not get indexed by the search engines whilst it is in draft. Nobody can see it while it is in draft apart from you. Okay. As you work through, there is another little button here that allows you to preview your work. Hold on, I'm going to get this horrible thing out of the way again. So if you hit preview, it opens your page in another tab. Okay, so this is what you're working in the back, writing it. You hit that, this is what it looks like in the front. Okay, as you can see, I've done a lot of work there. Where did I put that? So let's try that again. Okay, so you can see it's going to show you the layout. Now I've got the headings turned off in mine. That's why there's no heading appearing, because I put them in individually. Okay, but yours will work differently more than likely. Okay, so as I mentioned before, you can also put in a featured image. Now, depending on how you work. Right, okay, that's a good point, actually. This is looking quite sort of full and confusing for a lot of people. If you come back up to the top, let's just get rid of these messages. Okay, you have this thing here that says screen options. If you click on that, all of these things here, so if we look at, let's pick one. Okay, we can see formats there, yeah? If I untick that, it's taken it away. Okay, so if you've got too much clutter there, you can just take that stuff away just by using this thing that says screen options. Okay, you probably also noticed that there's little arrows there, so you can close them all up. And if you want to, you can even move around the order that they appear. So depending what you use the most, so you may use featured images a lot, in which case you can move that up there. Okay, are we all happy with that?
Yeah, Mark, so what happens to the featured image? Does it appear in your blog?
So on a lot of WordPress sites, you have a page that displays your posts. Sounds confusing, yeah. I know, but it uses the excerpt, and quite often it will include a featured image there. So you have a page with all of those posts on, and that's the idea behind the featured image, so that it would display that there with just a heading, maybe the author and the date, and perhaps the first 50 words of your post.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Also, it also appears in things like Facebook, doesn't it, as well?
Yeah. If you haven't got some other settings done, it will do that. So if you take the URL and copy it and paste it and put it into Facebook, it will take the featured image.
Yeah.
As to create that link. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Brilliant. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
Yep. Brilliant. Thanks.
Okay. I like that. It helps me to think. So anything else that you're using? So we talked about Yoast the other week. I don't remember if you guys remember any of that, but this helps you to create that snippet that goes out on the Google search results page. Yeah, so if you don't do anything, Google will say, I believe this is what this is about. So you'll still be able to reach the title, and it will put out a snippet probably from your content. Yeah, it's going to pull something from your content and put it there. So I don't know.
So it's still worth sort of doing that. Is it even on the blog? It's worth it.
So these are your snippets. Yeah, it's still worth doing it.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so those are ads. So that here. Okay, so this is a page on this Checkatrade. That's what it's about. That's the title, and this is probably pulled from the content of that page. Okay, but with I can't remember which tab I'm on now. That's terrible, isn't it? You can use Yoast, which is what we use. I mean, there are other ones that do the same thing, and it says here I can edit the snippet. Okay, so I can say, yeah, I want it to use the title, the page, the separator, the site title. So all that it's going to put at the top of the thing, and I want this to be the description. So that's the words that are going to be in the snippet. And it doesn't have to be anything that's actually on your page. Yeah, you could write a completely different little bit that's only in the snippet. Okay, but make it relevant. So if you're talking about your glass vase, make sure that's your keyword, put it here in your snippet, and make what you write there relevant to a glass vase. So don't put buy now, buy now, buy now, buy now, or anything like that. You know, again, we're writing for people. The idea here is to make it enticing for people to click on that link in the search pages. Okay, if what you've put in your post you think is going to do that, well, by all means, put it here. Yeah.
So on your keyword, your focused keyword, which was slightly up.
Right,
yeah. How many times should you use that within your post? That kind of.
So your focus key phrase.
Oh. Yeah.
I can't remember if it tells you here. That's a good one. So your keyword should be in your title. Okay.
Yeah,
it should be in the alt text of your images. It should be in the file name of your images. Yeah. So so here, that's the file name. I've changed it to that. It says blog post blueprint. It says blog post blueprint on the front of the image. It then goes on a post that says blog post blueprint, and the alt text for that image is also blog post blueprint. Okay, so I'm making sure that the search engines understand that's what this page is about. Yeah. And bear in mind, when you do a search, thing at the top, images, so your images could be found from the file name. Yeah, because you've put the keyword in the file name. So your images alone can be found. Does that make sense for everybody?
Yeah, absolutely. Good.
Where did we get to? I can't remember now. Oh yeah, Yoast. So it gives you an SEO score, which if we come back up here is there. Okay, you're looking for this to go green. It gives you a readability score. And if you go onto here, if you click on these things, it tells you, yeah, tells you what you're doing. What you're doing right, there's little green bits here. What you're doing wrong, that's red. Okay. So it will help you to write your post. So it's telling you how humanly readable this post is.
Mark, I've got some posts that are sort PDF, and you know, so they've got lots of writing on, but it still gives me a red in my SEO. Okay,
so have you uploaded a PDF? Is that what you're saying?
I've uploaded a PDF into my media files, and then I've
so it can't read the PDF. So same as your image.
All right.
Okay. Have I got any PDFs here? No. Same as your image. Use the name of the file to put in your keywords. Yeah. And then in your post, write a synopsis on the post page. Yeah,
okay.
So what's the PDF about? Yeah. And then you've got a call to action, which is get your copy here.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
You know, whatever words you're going to use. So if it's 5 tips to do something, the words that would be your link would be get your 5 tips for. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I've got that. Yeah, brilliant. No, That's a good idea. Yeah. Okay, I'll do that. Yeah.
So if you look, let's put an image up here. So if you go to media library, if you've got PDFs, they'll be in here as well. Yeah. So not just your images, your PDFs will be there. And if you pick on one, you'll see you can put a link in here. Yeah, so you could put an image of the PDF that says get it here. And then you could link that to the actual file. So you could say, I want to link that to the media file.
Ah, good.
Yeah, so there's multiple ways you can do it. So if you go to somewhere like Pixabay or somewhere like that, you could just download an image of a PDF, you know, that where you're all used to seeing it out and about on the web. And then so you could say you can download your PDF and then put the little image in, and the image could be the link to the PDF file. Yeah. If you're going to create PDFs to give away, and I think we probably talked about this before, good idea is to create them in Word or something. Yeah, so create them in Word, put in a footer, and in the footer, put a link to your website. And then when you're in Word, you just hit Save As and save it as a PDF. Yeah, because if you get somebody to download it and they share it with their friends, the link will bring them back to your website. Yeah, so it's just another way of getting people links to your website. So you can save Word documents, you can save PowerPoint presentations as PDFs. So do it the same. So you probably noticed, where's that gone? Well, you may not have done. We have the link to our website at the bottom of our slideshows. So let me get that out of the way. Come on. So we're having a technical issue. Okay, so yeah, there, I've put a link in at the bottom of the page, and when I save that as a PDF, it saves that link in it so that people can click it and go and follow on to our website. So does that sort of help you out with that one, James?
That's brilliant. Yeah, Mark, that's brilliant. Good. Yeah, thank you.
So another one to think about is for your blog posts, you could actually create videos. You could create videos up on YouTube and then embed them on your blog posts. Okay, in fact, I think we'll do that as another. Yeah.
So do you have to have a YouTube channel then to do that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Do you have a Gmail account?
Yeah.
Then you can just log into YouTube as you, and you will find that you have a channel.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So one account, all of Google, as they say.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So that then gives you. Sorry, go on, James.
Also, is it only YouTube, or can you link it to other video sites?
YouTube and Vimeo generally you can do quite easily.
Yeah.
Out just as it is, just as WordPress is. There are other ways of doing it. So you could put it onto Google Drive, for instance. You can put them on Amazon AWS. But that's a little bit more involved. The idea of putting it on YouTube is because Google owns YouTube, so it's another search engine. Does that help, James?
Yeah, it does. Yeah. Sorry, I just
No, it's okay.
My dog's trying to chew me at the same time. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's brilliant. Thanks, Mark. Yeah.
Okay, so this post will be up shortly. In fact,
Mark,
yeah.
so if so say right, so I've done the video, I've uploaded it to YouTube. So then would I then save it and then embed it like you would embed an image?
Fairly similar. I will do a session on it.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Charlie, have you still got access to the WordPress videos?
I don't know, do I?
I don't. That's why I'm asking. I don't know either.
I
Because
don't know.
I think it shows you in there.
Okay.
They probably in your dashboard.
Okay, I never stopped the. I never stopped it.
We will have put them in your dashboard.
Okay.
So there'll be something up here like that it says manual.
Okay.
Yeah, and then it will say videos.
Okay, thank you.
So there's probably something in there that tells you off the top of my head. I don't know. There's 100 and something videos up there, so
Okay, thank you.
that'll probably tell you. Okay, folks. So we're at the end just about of our hour.
Thank you.
Hopefully, that's given you an idea of the elements that you should try to include in your blog posts. I say you write it in your voice, so I'm not going to try and tell you the way that you should. So start with an opening and have a middle and then have an end. You know, you decide how you're going to do that bit, but certainly as far as the headings and things. Oh, headings, that was the other bit I was going to quickly show you. Yeah, what a memory. Okay, so we know that's our H1 at the top, but we decided that this bit here is going to be our H2. So this is our first subheading.
Yep.
So we highlight what we want. Next to where it says paragraph, there we go, heading 2.
Oh, I see.
And now if we preview that, this is what it was before. And now we have it comes up like that. Okay, so you can see for us, we've got our headings set to be in a specific color. Yeah. And you can see it makes the font so much bigger. But as I said previously, you do not need to use, so I'll take that back to paragraph. You don't need to do that. You can actually change the size of the font using that plugin we were talking about.
Okay.
Yeah. So I could just make that, I think by default our font comes out at 16 pixels, so you could make that 24. Yeah. Or bold it or whatever you want to do to make it stand out.
Mark, do I have a little a blog thingy?
Yeah, yeah. So WordPress by default allows you to have this thing here called posts, which is where your blogs go. Yeah.
Okay.
If you want to have a chat with us at some other point when you start writing them, yeah, then we can organize how they're going to appear and where they're going to appear.
Okay, yeah? Thank you.
So if you haven't written any blog posts before,
no. Okay,
and you're just going to start, I'm going to start blogging. If you have a look here,
right.
If I can remember where it is, because I'm having one of those days. But we'll sort this out for you, Charlie. That's not an issue. No, okay. So you see there, it says your home page is whichever page you selected.
Yeah.
Yeah. And your post page, i.e. where your posts will appear, and you can go in and select on there. And I think by default now, WordPress creates one called blog. It creates a page anyway, okay?
Okay, thank you.
But you could literally just say, if there isn't one there, I'm going to go and create a page called blog, and then go and pick it in that drop down.
Okay.
And it would do it like that. Yeah.
Thank you.
And then you need to add it to the menu.
Okay.
And I think we've done navigation before, haven't we?
Yeah.
Or is that another one I need to put down on my list of things to do?
I don't know. You've done it with me before, but I don't know.
Right, okay. So I'll look at doing video onto posts and pages, and then adding to navigation. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. That's next month sorted. Thanks for that.
On author, Mark.
Yeah.
Because I'm the one that after the website, but I'm not the actual author of the post. Is there any way you can change that?
So change the author. Now that's one I don't think I've ever been asked before. Let's have a look. Okay, I mean, I think we covered last time about scheduling posts, didn't we? If memory serves, did anybody jog my memory?
I can't remember that. No, I can't remember that.
Okay, I'll look that one up, James, because off the top of my head, I don't remember.
No, that's right. Yeah, it's one of those things you're not going to do that.
Yeah,
often, I guess.
but I will look it up and I'll put it up on the Academy.
Okay.
But here you see we've got this publishing control within this box, so we've been saving it as a draft, etc. So if you publish it and you didn't mean to, you can always bring it back to draft. Yeah. So I've published it by accident, and it now says it's published up here. Yeah. So I can say, well, that was me being trigger happy, click happy. I can bring it back. You can also password protect it, or you can make it private, so only certain people that have got the link can go and see it. Yeah. But more importantly, if you're thinking about blogging, so you're thinking, oh, I'm going to write, let's say, a blog post every 2 weeks. Okay. But if you've got lots of content ready, it's in your head, you've got articles that you want to write from things you've read or whatever, you can actually set when these things are going to be published. Yeah, so you could sit down on one Saturday and you could write 4 blog posts and then just schedule when they're going to go out. So I'm going to put one out in September, I'm going to put the next one out in October, and you say okay to that, and then you schedule it. So if you just saw there, the publish button has changed to schedule.
Right.
Yeah, so if I change that back to September and okay, that is now going to say update it, whereas before it was schedule it. Okay, so you can go ahead and do that. So you can
good, yeah.
You can have lots ready to go. But I will, James, I will go and find out about that author. I mean, I know if you delete a user, it will say all of these posts assigned to this user. Do you want to assign them to another author? But I'm sure there is a way. It's just, no, off the top of my head, can't remember. No.
That's fine, that's fine.
But I'll let you know.
Yeah, brilliant. Okay, thank you.
Okay. Another good point while we're on that, actually, quite often with a WordPress site, you will actually have got set up as an administrator. Okay, so that you can control it, especially if you set up WordPress yourself. So it's always a good idea to create another user. Oh, I don't want to do that one. Let's go add new. Quickly get back off that one. Come on. Is to add a new user and make them an editor.
Okay.
Okay, so that when you're going to do your writing, when you're doing the posts and pages, you do them as an editor, so that you can't inadvertently go and change bits and pieces on your site and end up spending weeks trying to put it back. Yeah, so if you just add a new user, and you just say, oh, actually, I just want this one to be an editor. And if you can have other people blog on your site for you, you can make them an author. Yeah, so you can add other people in as an author, and all they can do is write stuff. Okay,
yeah, that'd be quite for me then, wouldn't it? If
I mean, if you, yeah,
yeah,
and then you go in then as the editor and say, okay, yeah, I'm happy with that content. We'll publish that.
Oh, right, okay, yeah. No,
Yeah.
sounds good.
So
Right,
again,
yeah.
back to that newspaper analogy, it's the same sort of thing. You can control who does what and what they do, and that's what the different user levels are there for.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you've got somebody working in your business that is going to write things for you because they are a creative type or they've just seen something that was interesting, whatever, you could create them as a user, as an author.
Author, yeah, brilliant.
But you've then
Yeah.
got the ultimate control.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. And the last thing I'll give you on posts while I'm thinking about it is by default, WordPress allows people to comment on your posts. Okay. So again, if you go back to your settings here and look at your discussion settings, okay, because that's what the comments are for. They're to create a discussion around what you've just written. Here you can control what goes on. Yeah. So I would strongly recommend that you don't allow people to just put things straight out. That you actually have some editorial process on comments that people are making. Yeah. And if you look here on your dashboard, you'll see there's a section for comments, and that's where you can go and look at all the comments that people have made. And strangely enough, there's none on here because I've wiped them all out. But you'll be able to go in there and then you'll see anything that's there, and you think, oh, because quite often people will try and spam WordPress websites for things like Viagra and stuff like that. Yeah, and what they'll try and do is they're trying to get comments that will automatically publish. Doesn't matter if you see them a week later and take them down, they've actually got something from that. So they'll have a link in there for them, something to happen. Okay, so switch off the automatic publishing and you as the editor control what's going on. It's also worthwhile doing that in case anybody says, oh, I had your service and it was terrible. Okay. So this is about reputation management. We talked briefly about it before. As I said, don't respond on the day. Always respond the next day to anything, any comments that people make about your business, whether it's on Facebook or anything. Even good comments. Don't, it's a rule. It's a rule in your business. You do not respond to comments on the day that you get them. Yeah, because if somebody says, oh, I had a service with them, it was terrible. First thing you can do is check and see, did they? Is this person actually true? Is it true? Are they actually a customer? Yeah, and then if they did, publish the comment and reply professionally. Yeah, but get them off there. So I'm sorry to hear you had a bad service. Please can you contact us on our email address or on this phone number so that we can rectify the solution or we can come to a solution. Yeah?
Yeah, and do you have to have that sort of comments on?
No, you can switch it off. Yeah.
So you don't have to have it on there.
No, you can switch it off completely. So we have here. Nobody can make any comments on here.
Yeah, that's
you can switch it on again if you wish at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, guys.
Yeah, brilliant, Mark. Thank you.
Thanks
for joining us.
Thanks a lot. See
and now
you
all
soon.
I've got to do is do the video and put it on YouTube.
Thank you.
All right, you take care. Stay safe, and maybe we'll see you next month.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye. See you later.